Detective Bartlett, reference case number 190-24477. Marion County Sheriff's Office making contact with Richard Bowers and his wife Anna, or his girlfriend Anna. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So was he like formally
I
diagnosed?
He was when he was little, yeah. But we didn't really I didn't really know the extent of how he was in school, just when I would have him, from hearing. But what we knew is, I think, starting school this year, he should have been in 5th grade, but he was going into 3rd. So
Hey,
he failed.
find out if Jesse's here. If not, Aaron's here. Aaron's not here.
She's not.
See if Jesse's here. If Jesse's not here, I'll see if I can just screenshot it and send them to me in an email or something.
I'll Jesse on the way down.
Thank you.
I mean, it's funny because I talked to a mother at our department does crossing guard for schools when we don't we have crossing guard away. We had a crossing guard retire, and we substitute. So I was at an elementary school on the other side of town this morning, and this lady spoke with me, and her son has something, but she can't seem to get him diagnosed. I mean, he hit a PE teacher yesterday. He's 7 years old. He's going along fine, and then he's angry, and he hears voices that make him angry.
Now Cameron though, because I find myself doing it, so I say, that's how I know it was my kid, but when he's excited, he'll flap his hands or he'll do this,
Preston too. That's typical
and even
autistic.
Preston too.
Preston too?
Daddy, we're going on a penguin hill stuff.
Yeah, but he just gets so excited about it,
He can't contain himself. That's how he handles his excitement.
All right. Where did we leave off? I apologize. We were talking about Michael apologizing. I remember that, and then we were talking about messages.
Right.
I don't know if my guy's here to collect the messages.
Okay.
Maybe you can screenshot them and email them to me.
Yes,
I'm gonna give you before I forget, because I don't know my email address.
Okay.
This is our case number.
Okay.
Obviously, if you call me, I'll know what you're talking about. So,
Correct.
and you have my cell phone number already. So,
Do you need any of her social media posts?
anything you guys want to send me,
Because I have them all.
attach it to that email and send it to me.
Gotcha.
If you could break down the emails from the text messages, those text messages are the most important thing to me right now.
Sure.
But I want to read over it. I want to learn about as much as I can.
Just so you can maybe decipher a little bit about the background.
I got the toothbrushes.
Okay.
The red toothbrush.
Cameron.
Red toothbrush is Cameron's. And the blue, is it blue?
Yes, Preston.
When you found them, could you tell much, or have they been dead for a long time? Probably.
Yes.
Okay, so.
Do we know if
Since before his birthday.
Oh.
I don't want you guys to find out about all this stuff on social media. I would rather tell you
Thank you.
as much as I can tell you.
He didn't even get his birthday.
Did they make it to school?
Oh my God.
So because we sent them back on, was it Saturday or Sunday? When did we return them?
I returned them back on Saturday afternoon because we brought him to Cracker Barrel with Mom and Dad. And
What's the time frame then?
So it was August 10th.
Yes.
So it was probably shortly after.
Sometime between August 10th and...
The 12th, before the 12th?
When was his birthday? His birthday
The
was
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah.
He said it was before there, somewhere in there.
But he never made it to school.
Never made it to school.
Oh.
He wasn't registered, not one day at school.
Oh.
Okay, so
Did he?
Is he here?
Yes.
Yes, he is here?
Yes,
Okay.
he's ready for me.
He didn't tell you, right? Because I think I already asked you how he did it. Yes.
And for two, I don't want you to have to live that yet. You're gonna know about it.
Terrible.
Okay. You're gonna know about it eventually, but I don't want you to have to live with that right. I don't want you to have to process that part right now. Okay.
Do you have any
Okay.
control of how, like, before it gets out on media? Because
I will gladly, as soon as I write the
know it from you.
as soon as I write the probable cause affidavit that charges him with the new charges, because obviously you know he's only here on one charge now.
Right.
For the other part of the arrest, we have to, let me fill this out so we get this started while we're talking, okay?
And the last thing, when I dropped off the kids, the last words that him and I had, he goes, well, me and Casey have a lot that we need to sort out. And I thought, well, oh yeah, okay.
Well, obviously there's some sort of change in
Yeah.
attitude recently
Yeah,
because he's
right.
hugging you, he's telling you all this
Yes,
stuff.
exactly.
What's your address, Richard?
2716 Ashley, ASHLEIGH Lane, Alpharetta, ALPHARETTA, Georgia 30004.
Thank you for all your work.
Yes, I hope you guys. Man, I wish we were in the good old days where you would, hang him. That's not even good enough for him.
Is this
I'm sorry,
Android
guys.
or a
It's Apple.
Apple? Okay.
Yeah, I just
What brand or which model is it?
the 10 Max. So it was, the latest one
Okay.
until the new one came out. Like I said, please don't. Anything I'm saying is just out of anger towards him.
No,
because
listen, nobody is ever gonna fault you for being
I
mad
hate
at
the
him.
guy, man.
And understandably.
I hate him.
You're gonna go through, I know that Liz probably explained all this stuff to you, or you know about it enough, you guys are gonna go
Yeah, I
through.
didn't know she was a
every type
psychologist
of-
until,
Yeah.
But I'm not one.
No, this is
You
personal.
but you
I
know
know,
how
yes,
things
yes,
get
yes,
processed.
of
You
course,
guys are
of
gonna
course.
go through ups, you're gonna go through downs, you're gonna be mad, you're gonna be sad.
Do you know why so he, because we were trying to think on the airplane, so he kept Casey's body probably because he was gonna either try to dispose of it somewhere else or something.
Or he didn't have the heart to get rid of her, I don't know. Because if you're listening to the timeline just like I am, you guys know that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Is what as recent as the 26th of July.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we have to. Well,
Yes,
let's get
thank
this
you
started.
for everything.
And this is, it says consent to search a cellular phone and or other storage media device. The case number is 190-24477. It says the undersigned residing at 2716 Ashley Lane in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Yep.
And I put your name on here, Richard Bowers. Does hereby authorize Detective Bartlett and or other officers he may designate to assist him to search my cellular phone. This other stuff doesn't really apply, and or storage media device, and then we describe it as an iPhone.
Do you guys need the passcode?
Yes.
Yes.
It's 1201. Let me just make sure.
1201.
Yeah, doing that all the time. Yep.
Okay, and then this written permission to search without a warrant is given by me to the above officers freely and voluntarily without any threats or promises having been made. And if you'll agree to that, I'll have you sign right there.
All right.
How long have you had that phone?
For a year, right?
Okay.
I mean, at least.
So it's gonna take a little bit. Just tell them all I need is there,
So let me show you. Yeah, so it's an app. So
so is that a text messaging app?
it is. So
Okay,
what
so
I
that
wanted,
makes more sense that
Yes.
she has the same app and you guys are talking. So the phone
Correct.
number thing is, okay.
because I was, you couldn't tell with him. I really didn't want him having any of my information.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Okay, that was what
So
threw
this
me
is
off when we
the-
talked about the phone number, the
Yeah.
760 number.
So it's this one right here, the
Okay.
GoDaddy app, and it's just a second phone
Okay.
line that I have through here,
Okay.
and I pay. I think it's like $9 or $10 a month, and that's how I
But
communicate.
for that
with her.
reason, we decided to get this to save and just
I'll see if he can pull just straight off the app.
Yeah, if he can pull just that, that's fine by me. I'll give you this.
He might have to try to do the whole dump.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
Tell him that that's the most important part. If he can't get that,
Let me know.
I'll have him do the screenshot pictures with his,
yes, that's
he's
fine.
got that
He can
thing.
just scroll through it and get that.
I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am. Again, I know that this part is hard. I know that you guys want to know everything that I know. I don't want you to know everything that I know right now. Okay, I don't want you to have to live with any part of that, good, bad, or indifferent. You don't need to know that part right now for your own. You have processing that you have to do emotionally just for the fact that you lost your children.
Right.
Okay. What were we talking about as far as, did you mention something about the kids coming home with injuries or something like
So
that?
I was interrogating them because, of course, that was myself
Mhm.
kicking in, and I said, I just want to know a little bit about their background. I bathed, like I said, waited the second day. I bathed them just because I wanted to know. When I say I bathed them, I literally washed every part of their
Mhm.
body, and even the oldest one. And I wanted to see if I saw anything or what, and there was nothing there.
Mhm.
So we had dinner one of the nights, and I said, I would constantly say, do you miss mommy? They're like, no. We're like, okay. We didn't say daddy because they knew him as daddy, but we knew that guy was that.
Yeah,
So
I understand all that.
anyway, so I said, we were talking about how is daddy with you? How is mommy with you? Each one. And so, well, apparently the oldest one said, I said, does he hit you? Does mommy or Cameron, does mommy or daddy hit you? Does mommy hit you? They're like, no. Does daddy hit you? Yes. And I said, what does he do? I said, does it hurt so bad? He goes, yeah, one time, and they got off on one time apparently he would hit them with hangers until they break.
Mhm.
And in fact, he had gotten a scar.
Yeah, it was like right up here, and Cameron had said that happened, like in school or something?
But here's the other thing, Cameron would fudge stories around because I could tell that they were threatened, like if you say something, I'm going to, and
During this trip.
right, like, well,
It was like pretty much like almost every time,
I think as much as he could comprehend,
Yeah.
and so, you could tell like he would change the topic quickly. It'd be like, he'd say, yada yada, and then he'd be like, Daddy, can we go play, like, so
Yeah.
strange. So obviously he would want to deviate from that. But Preston also would say, no, Daddy hit us several times, quite some time. So that was a whole incident with hangers and stuff.
Okay.
Apparently, I said, do they fight a lot? And he said, yes. One time, apparently they got into really that argument that they had gotten into their room and they had to cover their ears because they were so loud, and then apparently he had pulled her hair, and then she bit him back, and the little one said, the mommy bit him back and got him off. So a lot of, but we got the oldest one to be so uncomfortable that he broke down.
Yeah.
And so that's when I stopped.
Yeah.
I said, okay, we don't have to talk about it. So, like I said, people, if you hear us, people would ask us, well, why didn't we say something or report? It was because everything was still into legal processes. We didn't want, we tried to do everything by the law.
Yeah.
We tried, things were still being terminated. We required to see if they liked living with us, and maybe that could be, we
They sure
told
did,
them,
didn't they?
we did tell them,
They wanted
go
to
back to
live with
mommy and
us.
tell her, maybe you could live with daddy. They're like, we will, but.
Oh my gosh.
You can't,
I know.
you can't blame yourself for anything.
It's
that
always
happened.
the what ifs, and I wish I would have done this and done that, it's like I'm blaming myself because I feel like I'm, when I heard about the hanger incident, that's when I should have went and, did the same thing to him,
And there was no proof. There was no, like I said,
Yeah, that's
boosting.
was why, so I didn't know,
And they would say, we love daddy, like referring to him, because again,
Yeah.
they can't process the whole, but so that's what was strange. But nothing that, like I said, I didn't really want to make them uncomfortable during their
Yeah,
stay with
right,
us. We
yeah.
only had them 2 weeks, so I did not want to ask them every day, because then they would just close down on me.
Were you living in Leesburg the year prior? So there was the lapse in
It was
time
a-
seeing them.
right,
It was about
so-
a year.
Correct. So I had found work in Atlanta. That's that's why I moved up that well, and of course for my girlfriend here. But so I had met her first, and then I would come visit her almost every weekend from here. But I had the kids every weekend still. Okay. And then once I moved, I had to reach back out to my attorney, and then we had to redo the whole parenting plan and all that.
Because you moved.
Right. And she drug her feet on that, and it took a year in order, and
so you could go up there with the kids to visit,
correct.
But you couldn't actually live there and take the kids with you to stay for the weekend.
Well, here's the thing. He tried bringing the kids when when he had the one weekend while still under Florida law.
Yeah.
He went to visit me, but the mistake that he had done was he didn't let her know that they were going to Georgia. So they stayed with me for that weekend, and then on the way back, he didn't return them on time because he stopped by to get them food. So it was a delay. The pushback. It was just the time, not the day. The time. She had the police waiting for him because.
At your house?
No, I told her that I never met her at her house because I didn't trust anything. We met at Walgreens in Leesburg. And when I pulled up, the police were out there. He was there, of course. Michael was in a van, not that same van, but he was in like another van. And Casey gets out yelling, he tried to steal my babies. And I said, I didn't steal nothing. I communicated with her and everything,
So she knew that you were running delay. She just
wanted to. Yeah.
What's your relationship like with Nikki?
Not good, sir. I think I told you over the phone, that woman, let me tell you, she is a trip. Manipulative, she'll lie, she's cunning. Casey told me one time, apparently Nikki had she lived in I think it was Brandon, Florida, which is over there by Tampa.
Yeah.
Apparently she slipped and fell walking on a sidewalk. I think she, on purpose.
You're talking about Nikki?
Yeah. Sues the city, and she actually won some amount of money. Don't know how much. But honestly, I personally wouldn't believe much of anything that she says. In fact, I still think she knows something. Somehow.
I think she knows the same amount of stuff that you know, that stuff was suspicious to her. Yeah. Just like it was to you after, obviously looking back. That things are very suspicious. But
let me tell you, she did not love Casey. I met Casey in school, back in Indiana in high school. She kicked her out when she was 15 years old. Came home, from school. I drove her home. We get to her house. Her mom's just outside, just throwing all of her crap out. She had everything in her front driveway. Of course, that's a big drama scene. So my parents, being the great parents that they are, my mom was like, well, I guess she can live with us. How many moms are going to let their
that was nice.
16-year-old son's girlfriend live with them? So, mom and dad brought her in, and tried to give her a good life, but she hated my parents. She hated me. She had told my parents at one time, she's like, don't be surprised if your son ends up in a body bag, to my mom and dad, Casey, sorry to say that, sorry, I'm off the
So what I'm gathering from talking to you is that she was controlling.
Yes.
She was jealous.
Yes. I couldn't even take a shower, at times. What are you taking a shower for? Well, because that's the normal thing. No, you're trying to get in her draws, aren't you? I said, I'm not trying to get in anybody's draws. I was faithful. But so how I found out.
Where was this? Is the whole cheating thing? Is that something that started at a grooming place or a veterinarian's office?
Yeah,
I don't want to dig up the.
No, it's okay. So,
I'm just curious because to make sure that the story that I'm hearing is.
Yeah. So she got a job at a vet clinic where he worked. Okay. Apparently that's how they met. What I did, I knew something was going on, because she'd be out till 1, 2 in the morning. But I played where have you been? Just to kind of be, But I had my own things going on in the background. I found an app online, and it's basically like a police thing. But since I'm the IT guy, I installed it on her phone, and it tracked everything. Because I wanted to know what she was doing, so I knew she was cheating on me, but I just needed proof. And it just, showed every text message, everything that they had done, pictures, you know, I mean, they were in the car, he's grabbing her breast and, you know, just all kinds of stuff, you know. So I had my proof.
Okay.
And after that, I said,
That was the end.
we're getting a divorce. Yeah.
And you guys are both living, that's Leesburg at that time, right?
That was Tavares, actually. We had a house out there.
I'm trying to understand because,
Yeah.
you know,
There's a lot
talking to
of
you,
characters,
There's a
yeah.
lot.
there's a lot
I
of
know.
character. I've talked to her sisters, I've talked to her cousins, I've talked to her mom.
And Sarah keeps trying to say, yeah, Sarah Gilbert's like, I need to talk to you. No, if she's got something, she can call you guys, right? I mean,
Sarah Gilbert,
yes.
that's his, or her sister.
That's her sister.
Yes, yes.
I don't feel comfortable talking with her.
I talked to Nikki last night, and obviously this is one of the things that, unfortunately, some of the past stuff probably, you know what I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but
Right.
she's still grandma, and she wanted me to reach out to make sure that it was okay. She just wanted to make sure that she had an opportunity to say goodbye to the boys.
That's fine.
And I'm not forcing you to do anything, but she asked me specifically if I could ask you.
Can you let him know about what she's been trying to do though? That's
Well,
perfectly
Detective,
fine.
with that being said, I mean, however the outcome is of X, Y, and Z, we just wanna make sure we have rights over the boys in terms of what we do.
Oh, absolutely,
Going
yes,
forward.
yes, you're the biological father,
Because
yes.
She's already,
Nikki's trying to.
like, sending
Plan her
people, my sister helped me launch yesterday as I was driving here, a GoFundMe page for the boys. And so.
Your sister
My
started one.
sister,
Okay.
yes, under my name
Yeah.
because I was driving and I was not, you know, but she wanted to help and try to reach it. Now I'm based off of New York, so my family's in New York. So they have friends and family supporting, but I had shared it only on my page, as far as I know, but I shared it publicly.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, I'm sure she knows who I am or whatnot, so, but there are people that she's related to, and apparently they've been related to me, like, the grandmother wants to have a say, and she's told us that she wants to have a say in all, funeral costs and everything, so you need to take this down, like, this is a shame, and.
Okay, that's where that conversation came up. Maybe they don't know who you are. Is that an option?
I think they do.
No, they do,
Yeah,
they do,
yeah.
because,
Casey hated Anna.
because she
since
blocked
day
me.
Okay.
I can't, so they have to have known, I mean,
Yeah, there was conversation. We talked about that this morning. So
yeah, so.
that's, you guys can deal with your emotional issues and that type of issue however you guys so choose. You're the biological father, you'll have say in funeral arrangements and all that stuff, but when the boys are released from the autopsy, you guys will be able to choose wherever you want them to go. And I would assume that their facility is kind of like ours down here, that they will call you and they will tell you what they can tell you. They may not be able to have all the answers today, but they're going to be able to tell you the cause and manner of death,
Okay.
and then they will tell you that they're able to be released to a funeral home. So that'll be something that you guys, obviously it's not something you have to decide this second, but
So when she has to get saying bye, so does she mean like at the funeral home? or she-
however you guys want to arrange it. I think she would just want to be known that, or, you know, to have the information
That's
to
fine.
be able to come and say goodbye to him, if it be at a funeral or whatever you guys decide to do for arrangements, I think.
That's fine.
Yeah, cause you can't go to the medical examiner's office, they're not set up for that. Okay. So, and that being said, I'm presuming that your arrangements would be up where you are.
I think I want them to be in Georgia, yeah, cause they liked it there.
Oh, we live there.
And we lived there, you know, and,
The medical examiner and your funeral provider
yeah.
can arrange for transportation.
Yes, and I'll double check with my detective that's up there. We've had a detective up there since they were found from our agency.
Okay.
And obviously, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations is working the aspect that happened up there. So it's kind of gonna be a big combination of reports and all that stuff, and at some point, you guys are probably gonna wanna read them,
Yes.
as I could understand. So, but just be patient, okay? So process that stuff with your own time, don't rush, okay? for one, it's not gonna be released for some time.
Right.
But when his probable cause affidavit is released, it's gonna have information it has to narrate the crime that was committed, so you guys are gonna understand a little bit more.
So now, I'm hoping, so will he be charged with?
He is going to be charged. We are going to, what I anticipate presenting to the state attorney's office is 4 more counts of first-degree murder. Okay.
And will that be the death penalty?
It holds up to the death penalty, yes.
All right.
But that's something that has to be not only presented to the state attorney's office, we may have to go to grand jury on it. To, obviously, them to give us the go-ahead and say, yes, you can charge them, you can charge him. But he's not going anywhere. He is held on no bond status right now.
Thank you so much.
So that you don't have to worry about. And plus, I don't think that he even has the means, if he wanted to bond out, even if he had a bond. So.
And nicely enough, our state attorney believes in the death penalty.
Yeah, I guess I do to a point, and then when it happens to yourself,
It becomes
It's-
different.
Yes, it does.
Just like you can
their
sit
children.
and tell somebody stuff about their mental health.
Right.
It's like a nurse or a doctor taking care of their child. It ceases their training, they're calm and cool in the time of crisis when it's somebody else's body.
Yes,
But when
ma'am.
it's a child's body or your husband's body or your wife's body, it's a whole different story.
Yes, ma'am.
So you've got the training, but right now you've got the emotion.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that's gonna take precedence, because these are, 2 little boys that you have taken care of in a maternal way.
Yes, ma'am.
And like you were
during the
saying,
time.
I've been crying off, on,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
now.
and you will.
But it's like, when I woke up this morning, it's like I was feeling like the anger side of it, just towards him.
Sure.
Like I was just thinking, man, if I could just catch him for a second,
I understand.
that'd be it.
Nobody here, nobody
No.
takes anything away from you for that.
I told him I'd help.
Right.
He said, I'll help you.
Anyway, you can, in your own words, maybe just phrase something where it can settle with us in terms of, where the body's like still recognizable, were they,
They weren't burned or
just
anything like that,
something
right?
that we can maybe just at least try to process before it gets released into boom, this was it.
One of the reasons that I asked you for DNA was for identification purposes. Okay, he didn't do anything to attempt to dispose of them in a destructive manner. If that, I don't really know how to explain it, but obviously they have been deceased for a while.
Sometime, okay.
So decomp has.
Decomposition,
happened.
So
Yeah.
when, I'm gonna tell you that more than likely they will, have to be cremated. Okay?
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
And I'm gonna have to run back down to the office in just a minute to get that DNA swab so that we can collect your DNA for comparison. Now that may be one of the things that holds us back slightly, is the identification process. We have seen circumstances that say that it's them. We have him saying that it's them, but we have to positively identify them, obviously. And it's,
And I know you were asking me about the teeth. I know Cameron's been to the dentist,
Mhm.
and I think when he was a baby, because we first lived in Tampa, I think we brought him to like
A clinic type thing?
Yeah, when
Yeah.
he was a baby,
Yeah.
and they took his teeth or something, but his teeth in front were kind of like snaggly.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
like not
they
really
kinda-
fully, like kind of almost like have a lot of cavities too that were not
Okay.
fixed.
So they don't have fillings.
Can you, when you get time to process that part, can you get a hold of them or give me a contact for them and text it to me and see if we can try to get those, because some dentist's office I know dispose of them after so many times, or if you're not a patient that comes in,
Yeah.
or if you have a really good picture
Okay.
of his teeth that, obviously he's smiling or something that you can see.
That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
there should be
Because
something on
Medico
file.
legally, they only have to keep the records for 7 years.
For 7.
Mhm. So
Gotcha.
that comes from my previous life working in a medical office.
Okay.
So you're not required to keep.
Let me
them.
run down
And I
and
worked
grab
in the
those
dental
swabs
office
and
too.
check on the phone.
Were the children all together, or was it boys and girls?
As far, they were
They
all,
were found
yes, they were all found together.
together. Same manner disposed, all of them.
Were they, did he like try to, bury him, or were they just thrown out, like?
Let me check what I can release as far as
Okay.
that's concerned,
Gotcha.
okay? Whatever we talk about in here, I have to tell this to everybody. I know that people deal with things in many different ways.
Sure.
And one of the ways is sometimes to express things on social media and stuff like that. And whatever we talk about in here,
It's easier.
yeah, just don't put it on social media. You guys can talk to your parents and
Yeah.
talk to your loved ones, but ask them the same things. And none of the stuff that we talk about in here goes on social media, because what happens from then is then you guys get a question and
Sure.
people speculate. And
I
then-
just couldn't believe how huge it blew up, because I hadn't even known until we were in Germany, that she
Well,
was all
everything
over
happened very, 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 very quickly
Yeah.
once we got the information.
Mhm.
The deputy that you talked to,
Yeah.
Deputy King, did an amazing job. He went above and beyond what.
Was he the one that gave a speech? Or someone gave a speech?
The
He
sheriff.
No,
must be
that was our
I
sheriff.
like him,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
what
Oh,
he
he
said.
was-
Yes, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
was
he was
great.
hot.
The deputy that went out there went above and beyond by calling you guys and putting stuff out on social media. He talked to all the neighbors. As a detective, it's very rare to find somebody that goes out and does that
Yeah.
stuff, because they have lots and lots of calls to go to on a daily basis. So they don't have, necessarily time to go out and do, that's basically my job. I would be the one that would go and talk to the neighbors and try to reach out to you and
Yeah.
try to reach out to his family and her family and friends and all that stuff, and try to identify where Michael's at. And he had all that work almost done for us by the time that I got there. So, and if it weren't for him, we probably would be 2 or 3 more days behind all this. And because of the work that he did, is probably what helped us catch Michael as quick as we did.
Sorry, 2 questions. I know I've already asked this, and please forgive me if I've already asked this, but is Michael here in Florida now, or is he
Just
still-
got here. That was
Just
one of the
got here?
reasons that we moved you,
Okay.
because
Gotcha.
he was here.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate him coming the same day. I scheduled your appointment, and I don't have any control over when the jail transports inmates and stuff like that. But they called me this morning and said he's on his way here. So I had to move you guys because he was here. He's not here anymore, but he's lodged in the Marion County Jail now. And he's here for the duration.
Hopefully you guys put him in general population.
I don't think I don't think he's gonna have any access to any other inmates at this particular point.
Gotcha.
I did want to ask you, he wanted to know if he was able to
Yeah, that's what I was
maybe
curious.
go to the house that they lived in. Maybe he was able to, from afar or something, if he
You
could
guys
just.
can absolutely drive by there if you'd like.
I
We
mean,
don't
is
know
there
where
like
that is, we don't know.
media out there or anything like
I
that?
would
There's
not,
no TV
there was,
address.
whenever we pulled in, there was nobody here. There was lots of cars here,
Yeah.
but the parking lot is full of media right now.
Right now?
Right.
Oh, yeah, because he's
Our
here.
parking lot, yeah.
Because I had gotten things from people from Facebook. I mean, I had gotten, friend requests from some lady in Ohio wanting me to do an interview on how my children were murdered. And I'm thinking, lady, are you kidding me?
How crass is that?
Yeah. And she's got
But
like a
she's-
radio show.
That's
or
why,
something,
that's one of the reasons for
A lot of, yeah, a lot
I
of.
wanted to sneak you guys in the back door, because I
Yes.
don't want to have to put you through that. I don't want microphones in your face.
Where's their car?
Out the back main,
Okay,
out the,
okay, like the EOC?
Yeah,
Okay, cause I was gonna say, they give me the keys, I'm gonna get it.
yeah. No, we won't
But
put
you
you
don't
through
have to
that.
worry about that.
I can give you the address, I think, it's public knowledge. I can give you the
You want
address.
me to
for
write
that.
it down on the back of
Sure.
my card?
Were there, from what you saw, were there any traces that the killing occurred in the home? Or was this like on the way to mode of transportation?
Let me walk down there, and I'll tell you guys what I can tell you.
Okay.
I gotta make sure it's okay.
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 It's just like
I understand.
you
I'm,
know,
It's a
like I
nightmare.
said, I want you guys to know as much as I can tell you.
It's to process. That's more or less why we asked.
Well, give me just a minute.
And give me a minute to print out the, victim compensation
Okay.
act for them to sign. as well as the brochure.
Yep, I'm gonna check on the phone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We will be here.
Thank you. Detective Bartlett, and reference case number 19024477 in the CIS office, Marion County Sheriff's Office on 9/18/19. Richard Bowers and Anna, his girlfriend.
Basically
We are almost done on the phone.
he
Mr.
said
Eubanks,
this.
oh, sorry, did I interrupt?
No. We're just, I was letting them know that I'm gonna be either working in concert with Volusia County Sheriff's Office, their victim advocate, so that Nikki doesn't have to come up here.
Vicky's coming up here anyhow.
Vicky's coming up here anyhow. Well,
She's
then-
gonna come up here and see me at some point too. I don't know if you guys wanna come, and if you don't, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. I just want things to be as easy for you guys and just for her as I can make them. Whichever's best. If you don't wanna come, it's not gonna hurt my feelings one bit. If you'd like me to say, hey, can we all be on speakerphone, I can put you on speakerphone. I know you have a drive.
What is this for? I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna, I've kinda talked to her on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously I want to keep you guys both in the loop as much as I can, and I don't want to tell you more than what I've told her or anything like that. I don't want her to hear information from you guys or you to hear information from her that I didn't tell you guys. And sometimes ultimately it does happen because I can't call you guys all day on the phone with the new information that I have, just like I can't do for her. What I can tell you about what happened, okay, is obviously Nikki makes the report. Obviously we start looking at the neighbors, talking to everybody as quickly as we can. That's how I guess you found out. You've seen the missing persons thing on Facebook from Nikki, right?
I'd received a message from one of Casey's apparent cousins that lives in Michigan, and
Okay.
she asked me, have I heard anything from Casey? Because they haven't heard anything from her since like the 23rd.
And that's when you called in and talked to.
I called Lake County Sheriff.
On Facebook, so
Okay.
we just if it were true and we found
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
Was
they,
it wasn't our Facebook post?
No.
It was their Facebook post that they were posting.
correct.
Okay.
And then they transferred me to Leesburg, and then Leesburg's like, no, you need to call Marion, and so I'm like,
Okay.
and then finally that's when.
They gave you the runaround until you got
Yes.
to Mr. King, and then he kind of
Yes.
filled you in. Okay. What happens at that point is obviously we come out, we identify we obviously just check everything that he's
Yeah.
kind of done to make sure that obviously to double check his work and to make sure that what we're seeing is consistent. We do a search warrant on their house. The following day we find things that are of concern. Obviously there's not a whole lot of evidence because the
furniture.
everything had been moved out by the property owner. So kind of working back, we had reached out to other people that are associated with him. Ultimately we kind of scared him by reaching out to everybody.
Yeah.
So he went on the run. Well, when he goes on the run, he finds a place in Georgia that he decides this is the place where I'm going to get rid of the children. Okay. He ultimately doesn't do anything, disgusting or abnormally, anything like that to the children to dispose of them. He finds a place in the woods and he sets them. Okay.
Were they in a bag each, or?
They were in
Cubs.
like a container.
Okay.
Okay. Then he drives a couple miles down the road and wrecks the car.
Now, I want to say, I don't know, my mind's just in a million, so I apologize. That they might be cremated, is it because of the decomposition, or is it because of the manner of how
No,
they
it's-
went about
it's-
decomposition?
yes.
Okay.
And I have to hold the other part for
Sure.
me because we have to still present that to the grand jury and all that stuff, and I don't want that stuff leaked out because that's part of the manner that would cause the first degree as opposed to the second degree.
Understood.
Okay.
And I think I've already asked you this too, so forgive me, but so did he? So he killed her first, right? I mean, that's what I'm assuming. So was it over the 2 weeks I had him, probably, or probably could have been before?
That's part of the puzzle that we're still
Yeah,
putting together,
gotcha.
but
Yeah.
somewhere around that time.
Okay, gotcha.
And do we know what happened to her body?
Yeah, is it
Similar.
similar. Okay. but she was in the van
She was
still.
still in the van.
Yeah.
I get that. From what I understand, he couldn't bring himself to get rid of her. Or maybe he wanted to put her somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's as much as I can give you guys. I want to share, you know, I promise you, the day that I type that probable cause affidavit or the warrant, whatever they decide they want me to do,
Please.
before I take it to the jail to charge him with it, I will be calling you guys.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
We appreciate your work in
Yes,
advance.
all of you guys.
We,
You're the best.
sometimes we don't know the extremity of how our jobs can impact lives, but you and your team have, so.
Thank you. We're here for you guys, and if you guys need anything from us, don't hesitate to call.
Well, we're here for
And I'll
you.
keep
I mean,
in
that's-
touch. I'll
that's
keep
what
in
we
touch. I got a lot of work that I got to do, paperwork wise and evidence wise, and
We're so sorry, you know, we,
Yeah.
no. You have no reason
You
to
have no reason to be
apologize.
sorry.
oh my goodness.
I know, and then, you know, because when I had found out, you know, because I remember I was panicking. I mean, I'm like, man, I'm in Paris, you know. It's like I just can't go hop on the bus and ride right
Yeah.
down, you know.
Were you guys on vacation?
Yeah, we were gonna go to Rome, but you know, of course.
Our trip was cut short
Yeah.
for legitimate
For-
reasons,
yes,
but
exactly.
we were just, I mean, when she reached out, it was maybe 3 a.m. our time over there, so we were just, you know, we couldn't even sleep. We were already pondering, and
But
then
I just thought though, I mean, because I was thinking, well, you know, that's just probably Casey, you know, they.
Well, I prayed that first night,
Yeah.
and I know that my lieutenant prayed and prayed and prayed, and
thank you.
it was one of those
Thank
things
you.
where, when I was listening to the story that you guys probably heard from Detective King and kind of what I explained to you, it literally sounded like a movie to me.
Yeah.
Like it was
exactly.
it was a movie that you'd watch, and
That's what
That's
we
what
were
we were
just
just
saying.
talking
Like,
about.
we see a lot the first 48.
Yeah.
You know,
We watch that all the
a
time.
lot of stuff we
So we
know,
see what you
like
guys
what the rooms look like, what the interrogate, what everything.
Come in.
I didn't want it, I promise.
thank you, fine sir.
There you are.
Thanks,
He
Jay.
may
Thank
have
you.
put it in airplane mode. He's very
Oh,
tricky.
okay.
Took it out on the way up.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
That's okay.
So we know, but you know, when it happens to you,
That's good.
we don't know. I mean, I'm sure you, as your role, you're like, I've never gotten a case like this, you know.
I'll see how you guys do it, man.
And
I mean, it's sad at
his
times,
attorney,
but-
the custodial attorney, he's like,
Oh, his mind was blown. I mean,
He's
he was like, I never pictured that happening, you know.
Well, you're going to have an opportunity to probably watch all of his interviews and stuff like that at some point.
Perfect.
You can do a request for those, and
Thank you.
I can tell you that you're going to be as dumbfounded as I am about the reasons and stuff like that. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter what he tells us. It will never make any sense.
Exactly.
There will never
We
be
were just saying that
a
too.
reason that he could provide us or anyone else that would make any sense.
but is he being compliant? Like, is
Oh
he?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of weird too, though, isn't it? But
It's
I
extremely
mean,
weird.
yeah.
The whole case from start to finish, like I said, I've told a couple of the guys in the office that I don't rarely talk to my spouse about my cases.
Yeah.
And I sat down the morning, after
Yeah.
we had the missing person, and I explained to her some of the stuff, and I basically said it's literally like a movie or a show
So
that
over
you.
the world, would you believe? I mean, it was
It was
France.
France.
It was all
I mean, it was
over
on Fox,
international news.
CNN, everything.
I was-
I was like, damn.
I was
Yeah, my husband
dumbfounded.
said, oh, it's hit the internet.
Yeah.
And it's.
And people on social media, I mean, their comments, I have to refrain myself from
Yeah.
reading those
Yeah,
because-
Yeah.
don't read them. It's going to be because
yeah.
you'll be more mad
Yes.
at the
Yeah.
end of reading them because they
Right.
know so much more than
Right.
everybody
Yes.
else. They know that
Right.
they're going to question why the cops haven't charged him with first-degree murder.
Yeah.
And they don't understand the process of how the actual job goes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My
And why isn't the trial next week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me grab these before I forget.
No, I said, I told him my speculation was, if he's being consentful here, he's telling you everything, he's being compliant. I mean, I said, could they have got it into it so bad that it hit his limits and went after her first, and then,
Now what?
Apparently,
well, and then
all
it
they did
hits
was
because
already
they maybe
consider-
heard or saw something and they knew they'd say something, and who would he drop them off because they would still say something,
Right.
so.
I don't have to do that. You can run that
Yeah,
just
how does
right
he
around the
explain,
inside of
you
your
know,
when the
cheek.
boys
Just-
come home,
Both of them.
where's mommy?
Exactly, right, so
How
I'm
does
like,
he
maybe
explain
just to
that?
keep their mouths shut.
Don't know.
That'll do. Oop, I'll trade you. There we go.
Catch up to this one.
Press down kind of hard for me.
My mouth's all dry.
Do
Gosh.
you need more water? We have more water.
Yeah, if you don't mind,
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
mind.
There-
No, no, no,
Got
no.
one more set.
You good with that? Because I was a bad person. I didn't put any more in the refrigerator. But I can find some cool
I
water.
bought some.
That's okay, thank you.
Do you have any idea when Nikki is coming here?
Sometime next week I have a scheduled appointment
Okay,
with her,
good.
so
Okay.
if you guys wanna be here, you can. If you just want me to call you and say, hey, this is what we got going on, I've told you guys the majority of what I can release at this point. So, anything else that I can share, will just clarify things slightly.
Anything that might be coming up here in Georgia, in Florida, in terms of like what we might need to attend to here? Do you know anything of like that, for whatever reason, or like, do we go home, or where do we,
No, go home, make yourself comfortable, do whatever you guys have to do to deal with the processing part. Don't worry about what happens on my end.
Because we were talking about in terms of, and I don't know if this answered this, but, with the boys, like, will they be in Georgia, will they be brought back here? Or
No,
do we have
what'll
certain-
happen is they will contact, I'm gonna make sure that my detective that's there right now, he's literally there right now. I'm gonna make sure that they know that you're the next of kin for the boys, okay? So that they contact you, I gotta make sure, I gotta confirm that they have your number and all that stuff, which I'm fairly certain that they do, but I'm gonna double check. But they'll call you,
Okay.
and what they'll say is, the medical examiner, this is what happens here locally. I can't speak for them, but
Yeah.
I'm suspecting that they probably work in a similar fashion.
Yeah.
They'll call you, explain to you what the cause and manner of death was,
Okay.
that they're gonna put on their report, because obviously that part becomes public record at some point.
Okay.
So what they'll do is they'll tell you what's happening, and then they'll ask you if you have funeral arrangements, or if you have a funeral home that's gonna come and pick them up. Cause they will ask you probably at some point to say, have them come, or,
Okay.
and that won't be something that you have to worry about logistically. All you have to do is call the funeral home and say that they'll work out logistics and all that stuff, regardless of whether or not you want them transported here, or
Okay.
you wanna stay in Georgia. That's completely up to you guys, okay?
Okay.
And usually the medical examiner of the funeral home, I mean, they arrange, funeral home goes to the medical examiner's office and does. All
Okay.
you have to do is choose.
And then the actual funeral and all that stuff doesn't have to be arranged right away.
No.
It's just something that you guys probably should think about as far as who. It doesn't, what, where, when,
Yeah.
all that stuff doesn't matter at this point.
Okay.
Just kind of think of which funeral home you wanna work with,
Okay.
okay?
Cause you got time, particularly with this kind of case,
Yeah.
it's gonna take some time to process some of the stuff.
So you guys said, well, I mean, I don't know where you're at in your investigation, but do you think it'll probably wrap up here pretty soon? I mean, cause I'm sure you guys have enough probable cause, right?
Our case is basically depending on the state attorney's office and when we can schedule the, grand jury.
Gotcha, okay.
I'm assuming that they'll wanna go to grand jury because it is a first degree.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where they want somebody to confirm everything that they're seeing,
Yeah.
and that gives them that opportunity, so.
Okay.
Will we be called upon for that?
Yeah.
I don't think so, you might, but I very, very highly doubt they would put you through that, cause they can use my testimony and the deputy's testimony for that. There's no real reason to bring you guys in and put you through that part.
Well, of course, I would wanna be there though anyways.
And that's
You can't
your
even attend to
entitlement.
that, you can't, you
And not the
cannot.
grand jury
Not the
one,
grand
but
jury.
the actual trial.
The trial,
Yeah,
if there's a
yes.
trial,
Sorry, yeah,
let's
not
not,
the trial.
let's not worry about putting,
Right.
let's not worry about any of that
Okay,
yet,
gotcha.
but, if you guys got questions, call me.
Okay.
If you have a concern, something's weird, you're gonna still send me those Facebook posts, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
It doesn't have to be right now, wait till you get
I
home.
think, just in case, can we have another card with
And
you?
Yes,
then-
I was gonna give you this to
Okay.
put with the victim's comp information
Okay,
to
I'll
provide
take
to your funeral home,
Yes, ma'am.
but what do you need?
I guess, Bernard's contact information.
You got it.
please. I don't have
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah.
I can give you another card.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have it just.
The only thing that I think that would have trouble getting would be, dental records, cause that was,
Just check, if you can, if you can't, we can
I don't
a
even
picture
know.
may work.
Yeah, I'll check for
If you have a good
pictures.
picture where he's
Yeah.
smiling or something like that,
Okay.
they can probably do something like that.
There's his email address.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming up, and again, I'm very, very sorry.
We're okay with just showing up there.
Yeah, there shouldn't be anybody there, and I can't promise there won't be media there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just look around.
It's
If
really
there's
good.
media, just do a drive-by.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's a dirt road. If you drive, it's basically kind of like a circle. So if
Okay.
you go, the GPS is going to take you down 441. It's going to tell you to turn right on the road called Sunset Harbor Road. Right after you turn right, you're going to make another quick right, and it's going to be on a dirt road. If you can either take the first right, or you can go around the back and come. All it is a mobile home. They're just really close together with the neighbors. So I'm going to assure you that somebody is going to be out there. They've been very attentive to watching who's coming, who's going. Obviously, some neighbors are inquisitive about what's going on, and they have to.
Yeah.
You probably watch some of the news things where
Yeah.
they've interviewed some of the neighbors. So, all right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate you guys. I appreciate your
Walk
time.
them out in the back of the
No,
bus.
I'll walk them out. That's okay.
Thank you, Miss Liz.
You are more than welcome.
I want to talk to you guys some more,
Sure.
but we need the room for something else.
I got
Yeah.
Billy. Billy will take them down
Yeah,
there.
I'm gonna walk with him.
Okay,
That's
but
okay.
Billy will stay down there just in case they have anything.
Well, we're not
Where
quite.
in Germany you living?
We weren't. We were just traveling.
Yeah. Oh, you just on vacation?
Yeah, Berlin.
Oh.
Yeah.
I go there next month. I love Germany. I would like to move there all the time. Permanently.
It's beautiful.
It wasn't.
So you're in Berlin?
Yeah.
I like Berlin.
We made one day in Paris and then we flew last night. from
Yeah, because
Paris.
that's when we got the news. Yeah.
Let me get Billy real quick.
You
Billy.
don't have to restart like 15 times.
If you guys will walk down there for just a minute, I need to catch up with him, and I'll come back. He's gonna. I got my partner's gonna come out here and walk you guys down to the other room.
Okay.
And I'm gonna brief him on what we've talked about because
Okay, sir.
that's stuff that we talked about is important.
Sure.
But I'll be down to talk to you in just a second.
Can
Richard?
I? Yes, sir.
This is Dad. And Hannah?
Yes.
Wait, could you take down Liz Long? It's near the old sergeant's office.
I'll be down in just a minute. Okay.
Just really briefly, like Anna was saying, yeah. So she had brought to my attention. So when I was.
Let's walk and talk. I'll walk you down there, and then I can
Yes,
come
sir.
right back.
That's fine. You're perfect.
He had mentioned something about her going to a party. Something about she got, I think exact words was like shit-faced drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently she hurt her back. And, you know, that's why she,
That's we believe that correlates.
Okay, so now-
yeah.
So now you've seen on Facebook that she had a previous surgery, and then you move forward, and she texts you about the surgery, about having another surgery, and then now he's talking about her falling, and
Yeah.
so okay, so it all kind of it sounds right, but obviously looking back now, the text conversation was suspicious because of the change in the way she articulated things.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand, and it probably wouldn't be anything you would think of during that time, obviously, because
Exactly. We did not.
child custody can be hard enough to deal with
And
co-parenting and all that
we
stuff.
had just gotten everything finalized too, you know, and I'm like, man, you know, it's like I loved being with my boys, and I was gonna have them for Thanksgiving and Christmas this year, you know, and I tried calling them on her. So I had reached out to her on. I mean, obviously I have it here on my phone, but I wanted to wish
Sure.
Preston a happy birthday, you know, my youngest. And she never answered me back, and so then I'm thinking, you know, well, something's up. you
This
know,
is
and
in August, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was already after I had dropped him off.
When was his birthday?
The 22nd.
Okay. And so you reached out to her and she never responded.
Correct.
Okay.
And then, yeah, let me double check that.
I'm going to ask you if we can I see if my tech guy can
Sure,
make a
of
copy
course.
of all that stuff? We're
Whatever
going to
you
go
need,
right in
sir.
here, right? Is this their office still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then we're going to go in here to the left, I believe. Let me double check so I don't send you come into the wrong office.
Liz. They moved across the hall. We went to the wrong place.
I went to the wrong place. Awesome. Let's go this way.
You turn right at 529.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you, do you guys mind if, this is Richard, and this is Miss Anna, this is Liz.
This is Lily. She's our therapy dog, so please feel free.
She's the sweetest little thing.
And whatever.
Are you okay with that, if we make a copy of that? I don't know if, well, Detective Bertelsen will go down and grab it. We have a form for everything, of course.
Sure, yeah.
And just that's one of the things that protects us during these investigations is that you gave us consent and all that stuff. Not that you wouldn't ever withdraw consent, but just to make a quick copy of that.
Sure.
I don't know if it's going to copy everything on your phone, but
Sure.
if it copies everything, we know it's in chronological order and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, so on
She's 6.
let's see here. So
I have a doggy too,
bringing the boys to lunch, and then so
that's on the 10th. So that's 2 days before school was supposed to start.
So then on the 16th, I said just checking to see how the boys are doing and how the first week of school went. And then the next day, for the second time, just checking to see how the boys are doing. And then August 17th, they are fine. School was okay. Preston hadn't had any accidents all week.
Okay.
And then, I put the thumbs up emoji. And then on the 22nd, which was his birthday, I would like to wish Preston a happy birthday and was hoping I could talk to him around 8 o'clock. And then, obviously hadn't heard anything then. And that was it.
Brad, do you need these?
Yes, I'll take those from you. Do you know which one is which?
Yes. Hold on, let me do memory. Cameron and Preston.
Okay, Cameron's the red
Cameron,
one
red.
and Preston's blue.
Preston's
Okay,
blue.
I'm going to write that down.
And so
I'm listening to you. You're okay.
So actually, so August 23rd, I said I would like to schedule a time to speak to Preston. Right now he's with his cousins, but maybe Sunday night. Only thing is my phone won't receive calls. That's what threw a red flag too. So we will have to figure that out. Maybe I can have him use Michael's phone. Wasn't ignoring you. Phone is in need of being replaced. So yeah, just let me know. And then, I said Sunday night it is. Let me know what time. And then on the 25th, I said, is now a good time to talk to Preston? And I've gotten a response from you since August 23rd. I was wanting to know. That was on the 10th of September. I want to know how they're doing. And then Sunday, when we were in Europe, I think I just tried to call to see if her phone would ring.
Nothing.
And it said,
Okay.
that it was,
That bag would be good for you. It's been sealed since the day that they last touched it.
Okay.
So it's been preserved. It's not even fully rinsed.
Okay.
Because I didn't care to fully rinse it out, but it's
Okay.
hopefully it'll.
All right. Well, I'm going to walk down there. Do you have a water? I forgot to grab him a water when we sat down.
Cold and
Okay.
warm.
All right. I'll be right back down,
Room
okay?
temperature. One moment. I'll be right
She's a mess.
back. I'm going to shut the door because she'll follow me.
Yep. It's okay, come on, sweetie. That's a good girl. You're so sweet.
Can you tell me how they died? Do you know?
Right now, no, I can't. For one, I can only take the information that I've gotten from him, and
Do you
I
know
wouldn't.
when, possibly?
That's what we're working through,
Okay.
too.
Because I figure, we were going through it, because that's all I've been doing. It's been back and forth in my mind.
Oh.
And I figured he either killed her while I had the kids for the 2 weeks in Georgia, because that obviously would have given him the prime time. And then when I got back, I figured he probably killed him shortly after. But, I don't know,
The
that's
boys,
all.
the boys did state, like I interrogated them.
No, thank you.
The psychology in me kicked in, and I said, I want to know. I purposely bathed them just to see if there was any marks, anything on their bodies. Nothing.
So when you picked the boys up, you went out of your way to make sure that they didn't have any physical injuries or anything like that?
Not immediately.
Okay.
First, we let them settle in and everything.
Yeah.
Because, so it took maybe a day. But after that, I took a picture of the medication he was on Preston. I took I more or less wanted to know, like, the kind of clothes they were wearing. Was it dirty or not? You could tell they hadn't washed for days.
I bet that hurt.
Did you just rip your pants open?
I'm hoping I didn't rip my pants.
But they stated that they hadn't seen her either because mommy was having surgery.
Okay.
So
that's what they told you.
that's what they
Yeah.
told
Okay.
us.
Did they mention any physical harm?
Yes.
I know that you guys kind of talked about that with Deputy King.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Hangers.
hold on to that. I want to talk about that when we get back. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll be right back in just a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.
That interview was in reference to case number 190-24477 at the Marion County Jail with Richard Bowers and Anna, his girlfriend. It is September 18th at 11:32 a.m. The Marion County Sheriff's Office.